I am joined by Robert Griffin III, James White, Field Yates Meanakeims.
All right, so first play we're going to look at, 2nd and 2, one of the Patriots' first offensive plays.
Let's get into some Drake Maye talk specifically, and then we will open it up to you guys for some questions. Taylor, what do you have on the rookie superstar quarterback?
Yeah, so we all know Drake Maye is a crazy athlete, right? This is one of the few shows where I'm not going to highlight those crazy scramble plays and everything. Yeah, he did have some, but a big reason that I'm not going to highlight them is I thought the bigger takeaway from this game was that Drake Maye isn't just a gunslinger. He's not just a young guy who can beat you with scrambles. If you look at the Patriots' production, especially in the passing game, a lot of it has been on scrambles, where Drake Maye has been like the best quarterback in the NFL. But what he was able to do against the Rams, kind of like Matthew Stafford to a degree, to be honest, where he took what the defense gave him, he got the ball out of his hands in a timely manner against a very good pass rush for the most part, and had one of the best statistical outings of his young career in the process. So let's look at the stats real quick. Get rid of this. Oh, thank you, Jackson. All right, so passing, the quickest average time to throw for Drake Maye in any game this season, his shortest average depth of target. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. I thought he was going to air it out against this Rams secondary, but also, like when I was talking with Barth during our preview show, this is not a front that's very easy to hold the ball against. So and also when they tried their play action, Rams did a pretty good job of actually smothering it. So even still, he had the second highest accuracy rate, just obviously like throws that hit you in stride, or at least within the receiver's frame and away from the defender. It was his second best game as a Patriot. Highest adjusted completion percentage, that basically just accounts for drops. Second highest passer rating, but his highest PFF passing grade. And while it was his first start without a big-time throw is basically just anything that's typically a deep throw, like 20 yards. It's not a big-time throw if the guy's wide open and you just like throw it wherever and he's just able to get it. If it's tight coverage, that's considered typically a big-time thrower if you throw the guy open. He didn't have any. I think he was robbed because there's one throw I'm going to highlight where I think he probably should have gotten one and the receiver just didn't really help him out. But he was able to win in other ways, and that's a really exciting thing for a young quarterback. They don't just win in the ways that you knew they would coming out of college. He's adjusted his game. His footwork's been better. His accuracy underneath specifically has been much better, and we are going to see that in this compilation. So there were a few areas specifically that I wanted to or a couple that I wanted to highlight specifically. One was his ability to beat the blitz, which we saw a few times. Now, against the Rams, Drake Maye faced his highest blitz rate, his highest simulated pressure rate. Simulated pressure basically just means the defense is sending 4 rushers like they usually would, but instead of it being defensive linemen, one of those guys at least is going to be a defensive back or an off-ball linebacker. Basically, the point is to confuse pass protection. Drake Maye threw 1 touchdown to no interceptions against the blitz. That was the best touchdown to ratio for him this season, and his passer rating of 107.7 was his second highest of the season. And like I mentioned, he faced cover 0 for the first time. So the Rams were the first defense in Chris Shula that really tried to test him and see if he could adjust to them sending heat. Because I looked up a stat, Drake Maye's tied for like 27th in the NFL in dropbacks against 6 or more pass rushers. Like defenses have basically been saying, we're not going to all out blitz this kid because if we miss and he runs, there's no one to catch him. And if we make the read simple enough that he just has one receiver to hit, it might work. Now, that didn't work this time, but we'll see if defenses try to challenge him more in the future. Anyway, beating the blitz. We're going to get into the first clip here. This was the play that everyone's been talking about. I love this play. It was one of my favorites from the entire game. So the Rams are going to try to overload the left side of the Patriots offensive line. You're going to see this look. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players on the line of scrimmage. Only got 5 offensive linemen, but you do have Ramondre Stevenson in the backfield. Now, the tricky part here is the Rams aren't going to send all these guys. Like you can see, these 2 mugged up defenders who are standing up in the middle between the nose tackle, these guys are dropping into coverage, and this safety's coming from depth. When a safety's coming from depth, it's very difficult for the offensive line to pick him up because you're not even thinking that someone who's like 15 yards away is going to try to come down and affect the passer. Now, the route we're going to be looking for is to Mario Douglas. He's going to come in motion, so he's the outside receiver in the bunch, and run a shallow crossing route. So against this kind of blitz, you want to get the ball out of your hands quickly. This was also a 3rd and 7 situation. So you'd like to really throw past the sticks, but in this situation, I didn't mind Drake Maye throwing it short, and you're going to see why. So, Mario Douglas, come on over. Run your route. And as you can see, safety comes down, and what happens is Michael Jordan gets distracted by the mug defender. So you see right here, he's blocking this guy. Oh, he's dropping into coverage. Oh, my God, there's somebody coming down the pipe. He's got pressure. Drake Maye is looking at Demario Douglas, but he can't throw it because there's a defender in the way. If he throws this, there's a decent chance this guy is going to break on the ball and pick it off. And this is something Drake Maye's done a great job of. Even in the Jets game, where he came in just for relief, he had a really impressive throw to Pop Douglas, where, once again, he waited for that second window and hit him in stride. Now, this time, Demario is going to clear that defender, and Drake Maye has pressure, jumps in the air as he throws this off platform. Like, again, this is coming out of his hand while he has no feet on the ground. Demario Douglas does clear the defender. Drake Maye hits him. Huge play. Demario Douglas, nice acceleration after the catch. Really good job by Drake Maye. Not only identifying he needed to get the ball out of his hands, but even doing enough to kind of, I'll actually show it one more time because I really like what he does in the pocket here to buy himself time. He's going to kind of drift just a little bit to the right, which TC McCartney complimented him for a couple weeks ago. Just one step just to give him enough time to hit Demario. Well done, young man. Well done. All right, we got another blitz. This time, we're going to get it from the middle linebacker. They're not showing a blitz look, but they're going to send it after the snap. Now, the Patriots, obviously, they have numbers advantage, right? They've got the center, 2 other offensive linemen, and Hunter Henry. Problem is, Hunter Henry's running a route. So he is not going to be able to pick up the 4th pass rusher that's going to come over to this side. Drake Maye is going to see right once he gets the snap that this middle linebacker is coming, and he knows he's hot because what basically hot means is you don't have anybody to pick up the blitzer, so there needs to be somewhere on the field where you can throw the ball and not get yourself killed. And that guy is backside, good old Kayshon Boutte running a slant, gets open. Drake Maye, quick decision, hits Kayshon Boutte in stride, first down. Again, really impressive identification from Drake Maye there. Now, sometimes the Rams blitzed, but the Patriots weren't able to pick it up. Now, Ramondre Stevenson is one of the best pass-blocking running backs in the entire NFL, but even the best are going to take their L's, and we're going to see that here. When this linebacker blitzes, and Ramondre Stevenson tries to pick him up. So play fake here from Drake Maye. Now, he's got Hunter Henry wide open on this outbreaking route. He can throw this, but he also sees that Kayshon Boutte has stacked his defender and is going to get open down the field. And Drake Maye, aggressive as always, said, you know what? I'm going to go for the throat. Let's see what we can get deep downfield. Now, Ramondre Stevenson, I don't want to say he loses fully, but gets enough of his guy to slow him down, not enough to stop the rush. Drake Maye, another throw where his feet are not on the ground. Ridiculous heave all the way downfield, puts this to Kayshon Boutte's upfield shoulder. That's the only place you really can put this, right? I don't really love the way that Kayshon Boutte judges the ball. I think the defender may have kept him from going up with 2 hands. Isn't able to get that. Kayshon Boutte's like 5'11". You don't really expect him to make those plays consistently. But a crazy example, again, of Drake Maye saying, hey, I have the arm strength to make these throws that like Mac Jones is never even going to consider making in his life.
Unreal.
Offense, yeah. Mac, I hope you have a bit of a bounce back or whatever. I know you're going through some tough times, but an incredible display of that arm talent from Drake Maye. All right, now, anticipation. Now, we've seen the blitz recognition, his ability to say, hey, you got pressure. I know where to go with the ball. He also did a great job identifying when he needed to get the ball out to best give his receivers a chance and also to put the defense in compromising positions. So here we're going to get kind of like a posty kind of route here from Kendrick Bourne. But the key is we're going to watch these 2 defenders because they are going to be the reason that this void even opens up. And it's a great job from Drake Maye recognizing he has that opening. So quick motion from Pop. You're going to get that flat route from Ramondre Stevenson. Both of the defenders end up looking towards him and vacating this space over the middle. Kendrick Bourne is about to break. Drake Maye sees that they've vacated the area and says, I'm firing this right to my guy. Does just that, puts it right on Kendrick Bourne's body for the touchdown. Great comeback performance from Kendrick Bourne, and that was really the first bit. Actually, I think he had a big catch before that, but that was one of the first really big sparks. Now,
was that a no-look, Taylor, that pass?
Oh, you want to look again?
Was it a no-look?
So I thought that last night. I'm honestly not sure enough to say it definitively here.
Because I remember you texted me that it was a no-look, yeah.
Yeah, I thought, to be fair, that was like midnight, and sometimes my brain starts to go at that point. It's usually when I'm like, you know what, I'll get my stuff that I need for tomorrow and just watch early in the morning because I get really stupid at that time. But it does seem like, look where his foot is pointed. Right, it's pointed kind of upfield, and Ramondre is running a rail route. It's hard to see where exactly his eyes are, but the way that these defenders react, I did think that part of it was his eyes. I'm not 100% sure, but either way, good job identifying that there was a void in the coverage and being able to exploit it the way he did. But yeah, I'm not quite as confident as I was at midnight.
It's still an insane throw, though.
It's still an insane throw.
It's still a great find.
And this was another one. Now, this is a really impressive anticipation throw to Hunter Henry, facing off coverage. I'm just going to run this one. It's pretty straightforward. Drake Maye, top of his drop. Again, look at his feet here. That base, that's what we've been wanting from him for so long. So often he has that narrow base that he can't actually throw from. Really good job here. Now, it's not a great look because Hunter Henry is being contacted at the top of his route as Drake Maye is getting ready to throw the ball, but he's got trust in his tight end, knowing that Hunter's going to try to initiate contact, basically that you push, I pull rule, where you initiate it, kind of give him a little chicken wing, and then you break off and get open. Drake Maye knows that he's got to throw this to the sideline, isn't afraid of the fact that there is this defender who obviously his back is turned. You shouldn't be afraid of him, but he understands that and that there's going to be a void for him to throw. Lets this go way before Hunter Henry's even out of his route for a first down. Love that play. They threw the flag for pass interference. It wasn't no damn pass interference. That was clean. So blitz beating ability and anticipation from Drake Maye, traits you don't expect to see on a consistent basis from a first-year quarterback, much less a 22-year-old quarterback. Drake Maye is showing these flashes every week, and this was one of the most consistent performances I think we've seen from him in both respects. But it was not perfect, and we cannot praise Drake Maye without also acknowledging where he could potentially be better, because he did have 2 turnover-worthy plays. Now, the first one we're going to look at is his strip sack. So he's going to be looking at Kayshon Boutte. He's running a curl on 3rd down, and it's only 3rd and 3, right? So it's not like this is some crazy long-yardage situation, but the Rams are going to be running a twist where this defender is going to slant inside, and then Braden Fisk is going to loop around. Ben Brown is not going to pick him up, and it's going to lead to the sack. Now, Drake Maye gets the ball. He's ready to let this go, right? He's already in his throwing motion, and Kayshon Boutte isn't out of his route, but like I mentioned, the anticipation, I would expect Drake Maye to let this go and trust his receiver to make the play, with the defender, as we can see, not looking at the ball. But instead, the pressure does get there, and I'm not sure why he doesn't let it go. He keeps holding on to the ball, which allows it to come out. And this is like such a ticky-tack small kind of thing. But like, look at this. You see his arm coming down, but he's not letting the ball go. I'm not totally sure why. I think maybe he didn't love that Kayshon Boutte was still getting out of the route, but that leads to the strip sack. Obviously very tough because this is coming from his blind side and happened so fast. I'm not dumping on Drake Maye at all here, but he's gotten strip sacked a ton, right? Almost in every single game. Coming in, we knew the Rams led the NFL in strip sacks. They had like 6 in their last 7 games. So ball comes out. Not a great rep from the rookie, but also you need to do better as an offensive line to keep him protected. And now the next play, the one we all talk about, the last play, the interception, where what was either one of these guys thinking? Drake Maye said that Demario Douglas was right. Demario Douglas said it was miscommunication on both sides. Frankly, I don't know for a fact who was right and who was wrong, but I do know that Drake Maye, I don't even think this ball was catchable. We're going to see why. So, first off, he identified this correctly during the game. It was a split safety look, but it's not just cover 2. You have cover 2 to this side of the field, but to this side, you're going to have quarters, right? So they're going to play out a little differently, where this guy is defending the deep half, and they're playing almost more of a match where they're waiting to see who comes into their area before they respond. And the Patriots, the routes we care about are the ones in this vertical concept. You got Hunter Henry going way downfield on a crosser. You've got Demario Douglas on what looks like a seam, some kind of route like that. And Kayshon Boutte, interestingly, is lined up basically as a tight end. He's going to chip to give Vidarian Lowe help against Jared Verse, who, I'm a Vidarian Lowe fan. He was hanging on for dear life against Jared Verse. Now, that's the kind of player he is. Verse is an absolute monster. Most guys are in that same position, but it was not an easy matchup. So good on Alex Van Pelt giving him some help. And then that's going to do is attract this defender right here. So now let's get to the play. Now we got our route distribution here. Let's see the picture. So Drake Maye is already throwing this, right? No one is actually out of their route yet. I think that Drake is thinking more, all right, you're in space, turn around and let me put this ball on you. The problem is, even if Demario Douglas turns right here, right, and maybe tries to settle around here, this ball ends up getting picked in the red of the logo. Demario Douglas was probably not going to – maybe he thought he was going to keep going straight. I'm not totally sure, but it doesn't look like a catch that Demario Douglas was going to make. But you do have these two corners defenders. Hunter Henry's drawing the safety's attention. Kayshon Boutte's drawing the corner's attention. So I think Demario Douglas's idea was, let me get over the top of these guys, because if I go straight, maybe there's a little bit of conflict there. But if I just go right over the top of them, I could probably score a touchdown. And he would have made my prediction right of him having his first 100-yard game. But that's neither here nor there. Nobody cares about stupid Taylor's predictions. Ball comes out from Drake Maye, who does get pressure. And you're going to see from his footwork, I think he understood he was going to get hit. And I think that's why this might have sailed on him. Like, look at his feet. You see how he kind of hops because he doesn't want that contact? That little hop, it looks like, does kind of make the difference. Demario Douglas isn't even turning. He isn't turned around by the time the ball gets intercepted. He's still running, said he was just trying to run his route. That's the kind of thing where a young quarterback, a young receiver, you're going to have miscommunications. That's just part of the game. They'll talk about it. They'll figure it out. Hopefully somewhere down the line we can say, oh, my God, it's the same thing, and they made it work, and that would be awesome. And again, Drake Maye got to cut down on the turnovers. Those are two plays where you expect him to improve moving forward, so not totally stressed about those. What I am excited about, though, is his ability to identify blitzes, get to different type of routes and hot reads, and then on top of that, show the anticipation and the confidence to throw when his receivers haven't declared themselves open. You see so many college quarterbacks, even Caleb Williams right now sometimes, will be hesitant to throw before the receiver's break is done. Drake Maye is not in that category. Wildly impressive stuff last week from the rookie.